Well, no, if you look, there's a little bit extra. The verse
okay,
doesn't
yeah.
stop. So, preparation, ladies and gentlemen, always a key to a good podcast.
Hello and welcome to Faith and the Christian podcast, exploring faith in real life for and with young people. I, as ever, am Ruth, and this is Andy.
Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning to you. Being very civilised. How's your week been?
Very nice.
Excellent. Can we go back to normal Andy now, please?
I'm trying to be more controlled.
Doesn't happen often. Maybe
No,
I
I'm
should
not
make the
really.
most of it.
Anyway, life's good. Can't complain.
Living the dream?
Always.
Good.
Always. Doing lots of fun stuff.
Are you though?
Yeah. Been out skateboarding.
Good.
It's my new hobby. Trying to learn to skateboard on water, basically.
How's that going for you?
I haven't broken anything yet, but I did bruise my foot quite badly.
Okay.
So
it is a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Has someone been teaching you, or are you just trying to do it yourself?
YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube has taught me.
Okay.
It's going well.
Well, you're still alive.
Exactly.
Things could be worse.
There'll be new videos coming out soon on my other channel about me seeing my progress and how it's going.
Excellent. I look forward to them.
Seeing some tumbles.
Seeing some tumbles. Excellent. Yeah. So, Andy, what is our top 5
Okay,
today?
So coming in, as always, to our top 5 section. This week, Ruth, the internet has been dying to know this. They are clamouring to know what is your top 5 takeaways. And within that, we're talking about, we're saying that if you get a takeaway from a restaurant like McDonald's or Burger King, that's not hamburgers. You have to choose a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah. So your top 5 sort of takeaway types or restaurants sort of mix between the two.
Okay. We'll see how we go on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'll be strict.
Interesting. Chinese.
Yeah, that's fine. Any particular go-to Chinese meal?
Sweet and sour.
Really?
Yeah. So the problem with Chinese is I'm allergic to ginger, and there's ginger in quite a lot of things, and I know that sweet and sour is safe.
Okay.
But I do like Chinese. Pizza.
Flavour? And if you say Hawaiian, I'm walking out now.
No, I do quite like Hawaiian, but I wouldn't. No, it's not go-to. It's not go-to. Not
okay.
Go-to. Possibly ham and mushroom. Possibly vegetarian. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But pizza.
Yep.
With garlic bread. Possibly Dovil's.
Pizza Express there.
Oh no, I make my own.
Really? You make your own garlic Dovil's?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. The only restaurant I know as growing up was Pizza Express that did the garlic Dovil's.
Yeah. I think most places do them now though, don't they?
Yeah, but down south it was only Pizza Express at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could get them in any good supermarket under the Pizza Express banner.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
So, Chinese, pizza, fish and chips, does that count?
Yeah, you can have fish and chips.
Quite like fish and chips.
Large cod and chips?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe not large, but yes. Although if you have large, you've got leftovers. See, that's the thing about takeaways, isn't it? That you want to buy enough stuff that you've got leftovers for the next day.
Okay.
That's 3, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What else do I have?
I don't know.
What else is there? I need some ideas now.
Okay, KFC, you've got chickeny stuff, you've got kebabs, Thai food, Indian.
Yeah, so I'd go for a curry sometimes.
Subway.
Does Subway count?
They deliver.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know these things.
Just eat. Anyway, or Deliveroo. Whoever is your local provider.
I'd probably go KFC. That's certainly what I aim for if I'm on the road and I stop at the service station. KFC is what I want.
Okay, but you know the KFCs have the Subways and the same ones most of the time.
Well, yeah, but
just
KFC
saying.
is what I want.
Okay. And then final one.
Is that not all of them? Chinese?
Yeah.
Curry?
Yeah.
Fish and chips?
Right, you said curry, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've got them all there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's a bit of a tough one though, that.
Because it's very general.
Yeah.
I mean, for me,
go on.
Our top is, in my household, it's pizza.
Yeah. And what are your toppings then?
Oh, we're always meat.
Of course you are.
So we will go with pepperoni, because the kids like a pepperoni one, whereas I'm a meat feast all the way.
Yeah.
Stuffed crust if we can get it.
I think stuffed crust is overrated.
I love a bit of cheese in my crust. That's all I can say. And I love the fact that when Pizza Hut did the pepperoni and cheese one as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I love a garlic mayonnaise to dip the crust in.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
So, stuffed crust all the way. And a deep pan pizza, not a thin crust.
Interesting.
I like a deep pan.
Okay.
Because I feel you get more.
More for your money.
Yeah.
More carbs.
And that's why I don't like Nando's. Because I can get more for my money at KFC.
Yeah, that's true.
Without being funny, I took my family to Nando's a few years back.
Yeah.
And we spent almost £100 on 6 of us eating.
Yeah.
Do you know how much food I can get at KFC for £100?
Yeah.
This is pre-lockdown, obviously, when there weren't limits and stuff like that. But yeah, so they'd probably be our top two. And then we like Chinese, but we don't get it that often.
Yeah.
Mainly because the kids don't like anything other than the chicken balls or the pork balls.
Okay, yeah.
So basically chicken nuggets.
Yeah, which you can get somewhere else as well.
Exactly. So they like them. I love an Indian.
Yeah. I
love spicy food, so...
Okay.
Yeah, took my wife for an Indian once for her birthday. Ordered what I thought was a nice safe meal for her. Turned out to be one of the spiciest ones on the... and I'd already ordered myself a spicy one, so she didn't enjoy that birthday. I did. Got 2 curries.
I was going to say, you ate lots that night, didn't you?
Well, not lots. It was just 2 curries. Which isn't a lot, really, is it? I'm trying to think what... Yeah. See, I'm not a fan of Subway. Nah. Greg's I'll take or leave.
Oh, I'd forgotten about Greg's.
Unless it's a sausage roll.
Sausage roll.
Greg's sausage rolls. Anyway, well done, Ruth.
Thank you.
A little bit harder this week on the top 5.
That was harder. We need to think of better top 5s, don't we?
Yeah. Anyway, but that's because people don't give us suggestions.
Give us suggestions. Come on now, people. Get involved.
You've made Ruth angry.
Oh, that wasn't angry. You don't want to see me angry. That's not good.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
You won't like me when I'm angry. So
oh, that was in like stereo.
We've spent too much time together now.
We knew what was coming.
So should we dive into the Bible, Andy?
Yes. What does God say about...
So we were thinking, and again, it's a dangerous thing, but we do it sometimes. And we were thinking about life at the moment and the chaos that feels like surrounds everything at the moment.
Oh, so much.
Just things are changing so much at the moment. So when we're recording this, we're on our way out of lockdown. So it's not full lockdown rules, but it's not fully back to the way we were living before. Things are changing all the time. There are lots of restrictions on different things. You have to research for 20 minutes before you can work out if you can meet up with your friends in the park and how many of you can be there and things like this. It is just madness, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely bonkers. I mean, I've got 4 kids at 4 different schools, and so I've had emails about what their timetable looks for each one, what they're supposed to take in, what they're not allowed to take in. And I have to now work out my life around their lives and what they're allowed to do and what they're not and who can pick them up and all of this palaver. And it is just bonkers.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you're saying, just to go to the park and meet up with a small group of people, if I do it as a job, then there are certain rules. If I do it with my mates, there are other rules. And yeah, it's just balmy what's going on.
And it's not ending anytime soon.
No.
So we were talking about schools, and in September, so we've heard about things that are going on in September. Andy's had letters from all the schools of what is going on, what his kids will be doing, how to get them to school, what they're allowed to do in school. And that's September, so that's still a month away or so.
Yeah.
And so this isn't going to end anytime soon, and schools aren't going to be putting massive plans like that into place if it wasn't for kind of the foreseeable future. At least that's not just going to be for a week when you get back. This is going to be for a while.
Yeah, it just feels like... I think the way I feel is that the rug got pulled out from underneath me.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been put back.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we're trying to put the same rug back, but we can't.
Yeah.
And it just feels, and I want to use the word chaotic.
Yeah.
Like chaos. And, it's not going to be a rant or anything like that, because I think people are doing the best jobs that they can.
Oh, for sure. This is hard for everyone.
But I think there's part of me that now wants things to go and be said, this is what it looks like now, and it's going to look this way for a year.
Yeah.
I
don't even want to go back to normal, back to the way we were before. I just want to know what is going on. I want there to be a set of rules that I understand and can figure out and I can do my life and my job and my friends and my relationships and get on with life. At the moment, it feels like we're in this kind of swirling madness, going back and forth and being confused and not really getting anywhere.
And I think for me it's that idea of I just want someone to say this is what it's going to look like until December 2021.
Yeah,
because that I can work with.
Yeah.
You know, and I can go right.
But we're both planners, aren't we? We like to put a plan in place, so I think that's part of it.
Exactly, it's part of who we are. But I think,
even so, I think even for people who aren't planners, this feels very, very strange.
And it's almost like I plan something for even next week, and then suddenly it's like, well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Or that's not allowed.
Yeah.
And then there's the threat of this and the threat of that, and it's just like, all the time.
Yeah.
It just feels like everything is just like you said, that sort of swirling, like never ending. Well, now what?
Yeah.
Now what? Now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah, exactly. So, I wonder how God feels about this. I wonder what the Bible says to us about this. So we're going to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33.
Ooh.
Trying hard with our words today. And it says, "For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace." For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace.
Wow.
So, in this chaos, God doesn't want this chaos.
Yeah.
This madness that is happening around us, that's not God's natural way of organising or being with and in the world. That's a weird thought, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just letting that verse sink in. Because, I mean, the more you sort of think about things, the more you sort of can ask questions around them, and the more you can sort of think about what that means. And the way I hear that, having heard you read it, you know, having read it a few times myself and then heard you read it, going, God is not a God of disorder. That makes me want to go that God isn't the God of the disorder that's going on around.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very easy and very tempting maybe to blame God for everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But that verse is saying to me, God isn't the God of that disorder.
Yeah.
God is the God who's in the disorder.
Yeah.
And he's standing next to me and he's allowed, you know, he's around me. He's the God who brings me peace in the disorder.
Yeah. We might have the crazy spiraling chaos around us, but actually with God by our side, he brings us that peace.
Yeah.
Even within the madness.
Yeah. And I remember, and I don't know if I'm right in this, so do correct me if I'm wrong, either you now,
Please
Ruth,
do.
or on the internet. If I'm right, if you manage to get into the middle of a twister, it's peaceful.
Yeah. There's like the eye of the storm, isn't there? And something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. And I don't know whether it's in a movie that I saw called Twister ages ago, or whether it's actual real truth.
Yeah.
But I think I read or heard that if you stand in the middle of the twister, well, actually, it's quite calm.
Yeah.
And it's almost that feeling of actually the twister can be going on around you, and you can be looking up and seeing all these cows flying around, and you know, televisions, and that was the movie version. Yeah. But in the middle, there's peace as it moves on. And so for me, it's sort of that is the God who I cling on to.
Yeah.
But he's not the God who maybe creates
it. Yeah.
You know, that disorder.
Yeah.
He's not the one who's there going, well, I'm the disorder God. I'm the one who's brought chaos to your life so that you're... Actually, he's the God who's saying, yeah, there's chaos, but I'm going to be there with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand in it with you.
So how do you find God in that? Because the chaos can be overwhelming, and that can feel like it is our whole life. And if we're saying God brings us peace, how do we find God and that peace within the madness?
Well, I think it's like we've been saying a lot over these last three things, and the more that we delve into God's word, it comes back to one thing, and that is our relationship with God.
Yep.
The more and more we look into the Bible, it comes back to our relationship with him, who he is, and how we allow him into our lives.
Yeah.
And it's really hard practically to sometimes sort of share that and sort of say, this is what it looks like, because there isn't any hard and fast answer.
Yeah.
But it's that journey with God. So even now, when the twisters are going on around me, when there's that whirlwind of chaos, I'm going, God, I need you.
Yeah.
You know, and there are some times when I'll scream harder and I go, God, I need your help.
Yeah.
And there are other times when it feels, less.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a different prayer, but it's that relationship where I know I can shout out to God and say, God, I need you in this.
Yeah.
And he'll be there.
Yeah.
And it's almost like with my kids, where they know if they shout, then I will do what I can.
It's that trust of those father's arms, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being there and us calling out wherever we are, whatever we're in, wherever we find ourselves, that we can call out to God and he will be there.
Yeah.
And he will keep us safe and he will bring us that peace. And I like that idea of being in the centre of the storm and that kind of peaceful thing happening with this chaos around us. But God is there keeping us safe, wrapping his arms around us and doing that thing that we imagine good fathers to be doing.
Yeah.
Of protecting and bringing, I was going to say bringing normality, that's not quite what I mean, but kind of bringing the peace and the understanding and the comfort that we need in that chaos.
Yeah. And I think, there's some hard imagery in there, that you talked about, because obviously not everyone's had a great father and good father, and we recognise that.
Yeah.
And it's hard on that. But I think it's that idea of being protected and covered.
Yeah.
And, even a tent can feel a place of comfort in the middle of a storm.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's a rainstorm and you've got nowhere else but you're in a tent.
You can hear it thundering.
And you can hear the wind and, and the tent's shaking out, but you can still feel protected.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how I see God in this verse.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a chaos like the one we're going on now.
No.
We all have chaos in our life anyway. Sometimes the chaos is loud like it is at the moment. Sometimes it's small rumblings around us. But the promise is the same.
Yeah.
That God is the God of peace.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that's worth pointing out, isn't it? That at the moment it's a lot of external chaos that we're talking about. We're talking about the world around us, decisions that are being made by other people, rules and restrictions that we then have to follow. But actually within ourselves, that's got nothing to do with anyone else necessarily. Mm-hmm. There's chaos, isn't there, within our bodies, within our brains, within relationships, within families, so within our small world, but kind of within us as well. And so it doesn't have to be this, it feels like this big storm in the same way, but it doesn't have to be this external storm.
Yeah, because I think maybe the idea of chaos is this big thing that we can't control.
Yeah.
But actually there can be sort of the small rumblings, the small beginnings of chaos.
I think we find that in our work and school quite often, don't we? That's quite a good place to...
Yeah.
I certainly feel it in work, and there are little bits of chaos. It's not that work is bad or anything like that. And I certainly felt it in school, that school as a whole wasn't necessarily bad, but there was a niggle going on over here and something that wasn't quite right over here, or a bad grade down here, and just little bits of chaos going on.
And then suddenly the sum of all those chaos suddenly feels a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And I had an old lecturer who once said little tigers grow into big tigers and big tigers kill. Which is true.
Yeah.
But little chaoses can grow into a big chaos.
Yeah.
And suddenly it feels overwhelming and suddenly we go, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And actually we need to cling on and remember that God is the God of peace.
Yeah.
And actually he's not the God of the disorder.
Yeah.
He's the God in the disorder.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, I think our encouragement this week is to draw close to God, to spend time with him, to build that relationship, to work out how God speaks to you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's never easy.
No.
And these things, the more that we do them, the more that we talk about God's word and what it is, and actually trying to nail what that looks like for us.
Yeah.
It's challenging for us as well. It's not easy for us to walk away from here and go, wow, So even just thinking about this verse in my own life and going, okay, what chaos is there in my life even now?
Yeah.
Not even the external, but internally or in my family or whatever in my work. What do I need? Where do I need God? And how do I get him into those situations?
Yeah.
And it doesn't become any easier.
No, and I have to say, we've done a few of these kind of little Bible verse delving in things now, and I've really enjoyed them and come away thinking more, and it hasn't been answers for me, and it hasn't been me telling you guys answers or Andy answers, but actually a really good thought process and helping me get into the Bible more and think more about these things and think about how I'm drawing closer to God and all of this sort of thing. So this kind of process has been great.
Excellent.
I've really enjoyed it, even if you guys haven't.
Well, and I think that's probably a good place to end today, to encourage you to spend time with God this week. Try and get into His Word in one way or another. It doesn't have to necessarily be sat reading the Bible. You can be listening to podcasts. You can be listening to Christian music. You can be listening to the Bible online.
Yeah.
There's loads of ways to access God.
Go outside, spend time with Him, find Him in the quiet.
Hug a tree.
Hug a tree, why not?
Whatever works for you. Find a way to connect with God.
And know that God is with you in this chaos.
Yeah.
God is with you. So I heard Torrin Wells, who's a worship leader, say God doesn't airlift you out of a situation, but He does parachute in to be there with you.
Yeah.
So He's not going to take you out of these things all the time. That's not how our God works. But He promises to be there with you, whatever situation. He'll come and be there with you.
And that, for me, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
God is the God in the disorder.
Yeah.
He's the God who will bring peace into your heart and your life in whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So we want to leave you with that. We want to encourage you, and be good, be safe. We'll see you next time.
See you next week.